Hey guys, what's up? How's everyone doing today? Ah, let me make sure all this shit is working. Okay, that's a bit weird. Okay. That's supposed to be spy. Uh, okay, weird. All my equity is getting destroyed. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Tired. Had a long weekend. Pretty burnt out. 6,200 this week. I don't know what your guys' obsession with 6,200 is. We're still in the 5,700 range. Getting back to 6,200 is going to require a significant amount of repositioning on the entirety of the market at this point. All right, let's see. I'll pull up Gamma Strike. I guess we could get started on the list. There's not too many, so there should be some time at the end for us to cover some other stuff. I think. All right. Okay. All right. So first up, we've got AEHR. ACHR? I'm gonna assume it's ACHR. Looks like it did down more before bouncing back, probably 12 to 13. Um, huh. Okay. I think it's gonna bounce back to 12 or 13. Is that really the comment someone wrote, Carl? What the fuck is this? It's at fucking $7. Looks like it's gonna go down to 7 or 5. Delta neutral's at 562. There's a little bit of support at 7. 7, 8. Upside looks capped out around like 10. Looks like a lot of 7 puts being sold. Vols coming down on the 30 and the 10 still. There's really nothing to stop it from continuing down. I mean, I guess the drop off in gamma slows a bit, but what's the nicest thing I could say about this? Maybe like one size bigger on that. Holy shit, happy birthday, Jen Jen. That's awesome. 27? Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, you've been keeping track, of course. That's too big of a font. Jesus. Why is there so little variation? It's either really tiny or fucking gigantic. Weird choice of color. Why? It works. It's very visible. Good contrast. It's a very white yellow. Glurb, I went to REI and I think I got some hippie germs on me. Probably. Do you smell like patchouli? But it's a very white yellow. Like a pastel. James Place, welcome to Cornichon, man. Thank you so much.
Cornichon.
Does anyone know when down? We've been going down for like a couple weeks now. I love REI. Can everyone stop typing REI into chat? Because it's very confusing. Really? I missed it? Missed it. Well, a bit of it, yeah. Why couldn't Trump have banned REI? That would have been better. No, I have a list. If you didn't vote for it, I'm not going to talk about it. Or, well, maybe you did vote for it, but Carl's just only giving. If I have time after I'm done with these, then I'll look at those. YCL. Okay, we don't have options data on that. But YCL is the ProShares Ultra Yen, which has been moving up a bit. I think it's, if I remember correctly, was it 2x levered? Yeah, 2x exposure on the daily basis. Yeah, it's a bit weird too. It's structured as a commodity pool and distributes K1s. 60% of gains are taxed at the long-term rate, 40% of gains at ordinary income, regardless of the holding period. What do you think of Broadcom? I might get a chance to cover it. I gotta go through the ones that people voted for first. So YCL, I mean, you're just trying to get exposure to long yen. Yeah, it's fine. Timing matters. It's still a leveraged fund. It doesn't use swaps like most leveraged funds, but yeah, it's one way of getting exposure to long yen. There's also what's the one we always use? Fucking Christ. Fixie. Yeah. So there's Fixie, there's YCL, there's a few other yen funds. There's EWJ, which is like a Nikkei exposure. Um, if the yen goes up a lot, I'm sure that that could be at least a little detrimental to Japanese equities. Probably more so if they start raising rates more consistently. I mean, it's got a big market cap. I don't think it's a primary driver. We could look at the actual correlation. Correlation on it starting to pick up with the S&P. It's not very high. It was higher a few months ago. Or right now, it's not like statistically relevant correlation at all. 31, 45% over the last 2 days. Should I be able to back in business until final season? Nice. Been doing some research. I was wondering if you could tell us what you see for REI. God damn it. I hate that place. They have one in the city and they sell like kayaks and paddle boards. Who the fuck in the city is ever going to use a kayak or a paddle board? Trump is pressuring the BOJ not to raise. Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. Like, what's he gonna do? Institute fucking tariffs against them? And then they're gonna sell US treasuries and fuck him over. So, probably not gonna see that happen. Actually, never mind. It's Trump. He doesn't understand how economics work. So it's a distinct possibility that that's exactly what he would try to do. People with bathtubs, you need a really big bathtub to get a paddleboard in it. I want that kind of bathtub. All right, I'll get back to AVGO later, but I've got some other stocks to look at. So YCL, yeah, it's leveraged yen exposure, but if there's nothing going on that's going to significantly impact yen, it's not something that you want to like buy and hold. Um, so I guess I'll write it in case they're not here, but you know that kind of bathtub, your pool. Remember, why the fuck would I paddleboard in a pool? So you go from like one side of it to the other, and just bump into the edge over and over again. I wouldn't do it in the Long Island Sound. Fuck that. And then on the other side, there's just great whites everywhere. It's like, oh, here, let me look like a seal so you can eat me. Bumper board. Yeah. All right. So the next one, a lot of questions about stocks with no fucking options chance. It's fantastic. PLAB. Okay. Definitely don't have that ticker either. All right. Photronics Inc. Interesting. Starting to look for long-term buy and hold pays, and PLAB came up as something potentially interesting. Okay. Yeah, not like a very explosive growth stock, but seems like their last couple of earnings are on track. Some expectations for revenues or EPS to rise modestly over the coming years. Revenues are expected to stay pretty flat. What's their debt exposure look like? Not too bad on the liability side. Cash flows are at least moderately consistent. Looks like they had a little bit of a quarter one. Some one-time events. Mm, hmm. Gross margin stays pretty consistent. Net margin improved over the last couple of quarters. Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, they seem to be kind of like kind of boring. I don't see what the potential is for their revenues to grow much. It's a little bit of a value trap. I mean, I don't really know what they would. It looks like the CEO's selling as of a couple days ago, which isn't a great look. So hmm, let me look at one more thing. Hmm, yeah. So I don't love it. I assume coming up with a good buy price on that stock would require deeper digging. I don't really see what, like, how much PE it can pick up. It's trading at 8.8 right now. But I don't see a reason for its like multiples to expand much. I mean, I guess if it's below book, that might be a cheap price. Book value looks to be about around 18 or so. They're getting some of their debt paid off, which is a bit of a bonus. Seems they've been reducing it by about 8 to 10%, 6 to 10% a quarter. I'm still, I'm still a little bit long LN2. I have some calls left. I've been talking about this for a few weeks. It finally broke above 466. Yeah, let's go take a look at the options chain on it. Adjusted delta finally moved positive and it broke above delta neutral. Gamma's still turning more positive, so chain's getting more bullish as it moves to the upside. 480 is a big resistance, but a breakout above 480, maybe I could push out to 500. Volatility is starting to come down a little on the 30-day. And kind of choppy on the 10, flat on the 60 and 90. I don't need to write up EPAM. Either we get a Ukrainian ceasefire or we don't. Babe, if you're looking to get eaten, you don't have to search out a great white. I'm a mid-white at best, but I'll head over. Thanks, Trash. I really appreciate that. You could paddleboard inside that giant water bottle you have. Again, just back and forth. Do you know who Captain Jim James is? Yeah, Twitter idiot. Dumb fuck permable. But if this market's down for like 2 consecutive days, he becomes a massive bear and says he was one all along. I'm not a big fan of most like influencers. They're usually just a bunch of frauds. Zom hover between 105 and 110. Sure. Again, there's been a lot of moves by OPEC recently to increase production. So I don't know if 105 is quite the support it was, but 110 is still a major resistance. Actually set up like a condor on this like a week ago with that exact price range in mind. And then earlier this week it lost, like it slipped the 105 level, but it's recovered. I mean, I will say this: it's very unlikely for Zom to fall like under 100 for any significant period of time. And while the bounce back here looks like it rejected off of the 110 level, I think it actually did. Yeah. It could fail 105 if it were to retest to the downside. So you have to be a little careful of like geopolitical shit on this right now. But I've seen him be a trapped bear like fucking 50 or a trapped bull like 15 times in the last 6 months. So I mean, I don't know. His analysis doesn't really catch me as being very eloquent. Tom Lee's also just. I mean, anybody who's a perma bull or a perma bear is a moron. Especially if they claim themselves to be a trader. Traders trade what's available. They trade the price action. They favor the trends. Being one thing or the other just gets you fucked over. It's a beginner mistake. FUBO gap fill baby. Just one baby. Sure. Yeah, I mean, FUBO seems to be getting pretty strong support at the $3 strike. I would imagine we're seeing a lot of sold puts come in there. Let's look at volume locally. Yeah. Yeah, out into this OPEX, looks like we're seeing the majority of puts being sold around $3. There's a lot of calls, 350 for. If we get a little further out, there's still some calls out at 450 and 5. I will say that the reduced guidance wasn't great for them. But it's going to take some time to turn everything around. So oh, son of a bitch. Whatever. It's a typo. I'm not going to fix it. ET long hold energy sphere. Ugh. Well, the options chain's collapsing. Bulls are walking away from it. Vol's starting to pick up a little bit. Looks like the 17 strikes probably getting sold. It's near a bottom, but it could bleed all the way down to like $10. So pretty risky spot to buy it as far as the options chain is concerned. The bulls have largely walked away. Doesn't look too great out here on the daily either. Big sell-off with earnings, which missed pretty significantly on EPS, but not too much on revenues. Dividends at 7.45%. That part's attractive. I don't like their consistently declining margins, though. I'd imagine liabilities are very high and increasing, which is also not a good look. Free cash flows seem to be pretty consistent. Gross profits at $2 billion with a pre-tax income 1.58. Paying out $68 million a quarter on preferred dividends. Payout ratio is a little bit high. I don't see a reason for them to cut their dividends, but if rates don't come down, they're in a very bad spot. Um, hmm. Yeah, I don't particularly love this one either. So, he's a criminal. Kramer, best trader. All right, Takeda. I'm on page 20 of OASI, so I don't know yet. Long yen, shaky company details, big wee wees. Go read my write up on Takeda from like a year ago, Squamsk, because I assume that's you. I don't watch any of those fucking people. They're all idiots. I mean, 98% of them are just con artists, and the other 2% of them are either grifters. No, no, the other 2% of them are pretty much just grifters. I've maybe run across like one or two, and none of the people you're bringing up that do this, and they don't really do it full time. I don't think so. Why would anybody do this if they make money? I mean, I know that's not a great advertisement for me, but like, I don't try very hard. Like anybody who's out there like trying to like grow an audience on YouTube, they're a phony. Thanks, Sisyphus. Because the only way you could dedicate your time to doing that is if that's your primary income source. You get ad blocker working again? Yeah, I did. I got it fixed. Well, different ad blocker, but it's fine. Gets rid of the ads on YouTube. That's all I give a shit about. You got me here. I want to believe you tried. I'm pretty offensive and insulting to most of my audience. I don't think I'd try that hard. I just like doing this because it's fun. Crowd, downside continuation or bounce. It's still sitting on a lot of negative gamma. Okay, let's take a look at CrowdStrike. Here, let me close this so you guys can actually see what the fuck is going on. CrowdStrike was kind of fun on its last bounce. Ooh, yeah. It's not sitting on that much negative gamma. Hmm. Maybe selling the 30-40? How's the vol looking? Maybe 30 kind of started to turn up a little bit on Friday. This is tricky. It's a lot more bullish above 340. And I could still sell off to like 300. So there's a ton of range on it. I don't like that it closed Friday below VN. So tested 318 at the low, bounced back to 333. Yeah, I'd probably stay just because of the risk. I would probably stay away from it until it got back over delta neutral. Because there's so much downside risk right where it is now. I know that was you, Squamps, that wrote about TAK. I wrote TAK up like a couple of years ago in Pickles Picks, and I mean, I think my thesis on it is still valid. It'll benefit due to their high domestic sales from an increase in yen. And at the time, there was still a lot of capex that needed to be spent in order to get their drug pipeline up to par with other major pharmaceutical companies. They've done a lot of that, and I think, what the fuck? I think it's starting to like accumulate and pick up some interest. Generally, my buy targets are between like 1379 and 1140. It's never tested the low of that range, and I do realize that they did pretty well following their most recent earnings, but I would still probably say that I wouldn't want to buy it under or above $14. I think there's plenty of time for that to accumulate more. Probably another couple of quarters. So there should be other buy opportunities, I think, in the future. If you really want exposure, you could get it now, but I would definitely save back like some capital to DCA later on. Sometimes I trade futures on Sunday, but I don't stream it. You also have some altruistic motives that you'll rarely admit to. I don't know what you're talking about. He's not going to teach anybody because he doesn't know, in all fairness. Stop, y'all. He's going to get full of himself again. That's never stopped. All right. What's next? What did we just do? CrowdStrike. We've got Coin. Calls off BTC reverse FOMO to GM at 245. Hasn't BTC just been shitting the bed all weekend? Duh. I said when BTC failed 89,000, it was fucked. I wasn't kidding. It still looks like dog shit. Maybe back at 60K. The Trump crypto summit was on Friday. No one gave a flying fuck about it. He's just gonna put a bunch of like seized criminal assets into a fund. Okay, listen, nobody who's rich in dollars is going to devalue their dollars to buy fucking Bitcoin. They're not going to implement any type of reserve system that could potentially punish the dollar versus Bitcoin. None of that. That's never going to happen. Those are all just pipe dreams that crypto bros make up to jerk each other off in their sleep. That's why Michael Saylor takes his stock and he sells it for cash fiat currency. He doesn't sell it. It's like, oh man, I'm going to take this money and go buy Bitcoin with it. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. He says things that pump Bitcoin, then he sells the asset for real fucking money. So while Trump and all of his buddies get you guys to divest your assets and purchase Bitcoin and other meme coins and bullshit stocks to pump them, they're selling. They're selling all that shit and they're taking the real money that you gave them and keeping it for themselves. Anyway, with that said, the options chain on coin was turning around into the end of day on Friday, and you can probably also look at MSTR for a little bit more of a sentiment indication there, which wasn't doing as well. A lot of gamma and delta fell off there. But it ultimately closed below its intraday high. It still looks like it's kind of failing its bounce off of the low at 200. Delta's still falling off of the chain. Skew adjusted delta is still negative. Total gamma hit its most positive point on the 5th and then fell off into the end of the week. I don't think there's a ton of support here past 200 to the downside, but there is support at 200 to the downside. A little bit at 210. Volatility on the 30 days coming down 10, 60, 90. So it seems that bears are at least a little bit confident, and there's a decent enough amount of gamma to the downside that it could fail 210 and down to 200. So I would say this actually looks bearish right now. Slightly, not super bearish, but having a pretty good time here. Yeah, I'm doing stuff. OCTA. Ooh, what do they do? Oh, I know which one that is. It might be starting to top out a little bit. When was the move? Was it just on Friday? Their earnings were Friday, or no, Monday. Why am I looking at the weekly? Okay, there we go. Surprise the upside on EPS. Be a little bit on revenues. Oh, look, they're only trading at a 1900x PE. Awesome. Oh, they say GM's still moving up. When puts to target downside gap? Well, GM's already above spot. This is something that we're going to be fixing in the next major overhaul to our calculations. But there's a little issue on some of these stocks that get super blown out on their options chains, where it doesn't it finds like multiple gamma maxes, and so it doesn't always pick the best one. But gamma max on this is at about 119 right now. So I mean, if you look at that, it's kind of already failed the test of GN. Um, and it's starting to come down. I think the high for, yeah, the high looks like it was like 116 there. 116.75, 116.96. So it failed around 117. Looks like adjusted delta and total delta both fell off pretty hard. Gamma dropped the last few days. This might be something like worth selling, like calls on. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to. Yeah, I mean, IV is starting to come down pretty fast. You might have missed the call selling opportunity, to be honest. I mean, IV 30s dropped 20 points, 24 points, 5 over the last couple of days, which isn't great. IV 10 is pretty low too. 60 never really. Yeah, I mean, the opportunity to sell vol at a significant profit's kind of gone, but there's still some left, especially as realized vol starts to possibly move down. So there could be an opportunity to continue selling vol on that. There's definitely plenty of room for it to move to the downside. Like gamma falls off pretty consistently without any break down to about like 104. So maybe this is something that's like worth shorting. There is some support at 110, but if 110's lost, there's really not a lot of support. So you get down to 100. There's really not a lot of upside delta here to worry about. So yeah, like 110, 100, minor, major support. Um, and then lastly, NVIDIA. The general consensus for NVIDIA right now is that it is oversold. Buyers keep trying to buy the bottom. They keep getting fucked. Closed just above VN on a delta neutral bounce on Friday. It's a slight improvement in skew delta, like skew adjusted delta, but not a significant one. And gamma turned around slightly, but also still negative. To be more sustainably bullish above like 121. I probably wouldn't fuck with it in this range. There's like support at 110, a little bit of resistance at 117. Gamma falls off to the upside, but it doesn't get really very positive until you get out to like 124. So like there's really not a lot of supportive gamma below 125. There's plenty of delta both ways, although there's a decent concentration of it to the upside. So I guess if this can pull out above 120, even that's a little risky. Hold on, let me see what's going on with vol. Realized vol's been picking up quite a lot. Volatility is still coming down across the board there. Yeah. All right. And then someone wanted to know about AVGO. Okay, AVGO doesn't have a lot of resistance to the upside. Break of 200 is without a doubt bullish here. But, well, yeah, 200 is resistance. Things are pretty flat between 190, 200. Vol's starting to pick up. Picked up quite a lot on the 10-day. And there's some pretty smooth gains in gamma to the upside. I mean, yeah, bounced right off of DN, back above GN to close. Got a local reversal, technical resistance at 203. Um, hmm. I know they bounced because of earnings. I know. But there's no vol crush on the upside move. Well, at least not any significant vol crush on the upside move. Like there was some crush the day following earnings. Like Thursday. Thursday saw a little bit of vol crush. Like IV30 dropped about 5 points, but then it went right back up into Friday again. So I think bulls just moved in more out of the money. Probably short dated as well. Yeah, there's quite a lot of short dated call positioning here. Like into this Friday and next. And with the delta that's in the money to the upside, like if this breaks 200, it can push out to 220 really easily. All right. Anything else? I'm gonna go grab the guys. PayPal, sure. Mm. Above 71. Yeah. Looks like local resistance is at 71. Bulls are trying to position here, but they failed recently. So they're trying to reposition after failing. Plenty of gamma to the upside if it does start to move. Decent bounce off of gamma neutral. A little bit of an uptick in skew adjusted delta, but that's still negative, so the upside's going to be a little bit tough, but not too bad. Gamma's positive. Now, let me see one more thing here. I'm sure that is short-dated positioning. Yeah, it looks like 70, 71 to 75 or 80 isn't a bad target. You think J&J is topped out? All right, I'm not gonna write this one out, but I'll take a look at it. Uh, yeah, pretty close. I mean, there's not much more room for it to move up. Some vol shorts came in on Thursday, backed off a little bit on Friday. There's definitely room to come down. Support at 160 though. This could be like a good call selling opportunity. I don't know if I would short it. I don't think there's really enough range, and I think vols are still a little too high for buying a put to be worth it. Um, but selling calls on this near resistance could be decent. Do they have earnings or anything coming up though? Not for a little while. There's gonna be a slight increase probably in volatility going into those earnings though. April 15 doesn't quite give you 30 days. Yeah, maybe an opportunity to sell calls like out of the money. Not, I don't know if I'd target GM, but maybe like above GM somewhere. Maybe out at like 70 or 75. There could be some opportunities. BTU still looks like shit. Still sold puts at 13 and 15. I mean, I don't think there's been any like changes. Tariffs are implemented. They're not particularly damaging to them. I think they're just going to be like mostly reciprocal as far as the coal industry is concerned. But energy commodities have been taking a bit of a hit, which affects coal no matter what. So see if oil starts to turn around a little now that they're saying that they want to refill the SPR with it under $70 a barrel. A pop cup from Starbucks? Is that the thing where it's just like a cup of whipped cream? I'll let Seaweed know. XPEV if you have time. Alright. Seriously, last one though. Ooh, kind of looks very bullish. So that could run out maybe as high as like 27 to the upside still. I'd keep an eye on vol. See if vol starts to come down. It's not right now, right? Like vol moved back up. I'd probably keep an eye on vol there. And if vol starts to like flatten out in this range, like 90, 86 to like 93, then it might be like a good call selling opportunity out of the money. But I'd be really careful with the upside. I don't think I would short it. I don't really know if the upside's worth playing, but it looks like positioning's building out to like the 30 strike. It's like a bunch of like 31 calls came in on Friday. Those are all for like June, so that's probably a pretty bullish indication. And then 24 and 25 calls above spot, and then little piles of calls coming in all the way out to 31. So with the position this is in now and volatility moving up, I would say that it's likely that it's going to keep pushing higher. Look at the fucking uptick in Delta there. Yeah, so I would say pretty bullish. Maybe like over the next 30, 45 days, they're targeting like 30 to $32, like around that range. Can we get 2 pub cups? Asking for a friend. No problem. G&G topped out. Okay, I covered J&J. Do you get all of this for 69 a month? All the research tools, yeah, the overnight data. So the stuff I'm using right now, you just don't get the intraday shit. All the intraday shit is part of the live data package. And some of the scanners aren't available, like this and like options macro, but those will be available in our middle tier once we launch that. They're just not available in the bottom tier. Before you leave, can you talk about REI? I don't have anything to say about it. At least nothing good, so I won't say anything at all. What's up, nerds? Oh, I'm muted.
Gork.
What's up,
Lord
nerds?
Gorkletort. What's
Guys?
up, Gork?
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on? I'm just driving. Just got out of Mobile, Alabama.
Oh shit.
My wife told me to put on headphones because my podcast was too loud. So now I'm on headphones and talking. She's still upset.
So we'll expect you to be less funny than normal, I guess.
She doesn't think I'm funny anymore. There's no difference.
How's the market doing, Girk? Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah,
Calls or puts?
Pretty sure Gert won. Because I don't remember what he put, but I remember saying, you guys are embarrassing this week.
Yeah. I put a test of delta neutral at the end of the week. We got it, but the Friday bounce put me a little bit above. I definitely won by a lot, but because you guys were like $1 off from each other trying to
59.05
trying to game each other. Yeah, 5,900.
59.09.
I mean, Girk, you would have technically won if you just picked $1 below J Fresh.
Yeah, but that's shitty. I'd rather just be right about the whole week than right about like the end of week.
Yeah, because then we'd all just kind of be wrong.
Yeah. Then we're just wrong all the time. Which, I mean, it usually is anyway, because it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's true. It's fun, yes.
Jork's really neat. He bakes focaccia and doesn't afraid of anything. That's not true. He's very afraid of losing parental love.
That's true.
Yes.
The losing approval of the people I respect is the thing I fear most.
Yeah.
That focaccia was delicious.
Man, we just stopped.
It was it looked a little dense. You've got to work on your crumb.
Yeah. I think it was overworked a little bit and underproved a little bit. Like there wasn't a bunch of concertina on the bottom, but it was it wasn't like airy like I wanted it to be. Nitu mentioned hydration, and I was like, I didn't measure any of that.
If you go higher hydration, like 90 to 100%, it makes that easier. Although I will say that it is technically a little incorrect to do really high hydration dough, but it does make it easier because also you won't form as much gluten, which will make it a lot airier and less dense anyway.
Yeah, so, it was a lot like a savory white bread the way I made it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. It looked like a white bread, but not bad for your first shot. Focaccia's not easy.
It was my first attempt at a yeasted dough product.
Yeah, don't worry about overproofing focaccia. You basically can't. But do worry about over kneading it.
Yeah, no, when I first pushed into it to like try to work it into a ball, it just went
You want all of those like big fat air bubbles in it because that's what makes it amazing.
Yeah, and I think right when I pushed it in, I think I had the thought like I just made a mistake.
But not bad. I've seen way worse first attempts. Baking's weird.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, and I gave half of it to my girlfriend's cast members because she had a show that night, and they all loved it. And I was like, okay, I understand why baking's awesome because you just make delicious shit and you have way too much of it, so you give it away.
I love how Dork's like a housewife.
He is, yeah.
He's just like making everyone like snacks and dinner for their events.
Dude, yeah. I'm home all day.
Project.
Yeah. I'm literally home all day every day.
Little side hustle on the side of homemaking.
I can't wait till he can afford to drop a tiny house unassembled off in his driveway.
You fucking asshole. I would just build it into a shed, honestly.
Well, yeah, we're gonna film you trying to assemble the tiny house by yourself.
Oh, my next door neighbor was a concrete pourer for like 30 years, so
yeah, he can make your slab for you.
Yeah.
You got to get one of those giant vibrating concrete dildos, and then I think you just dig a hole in the ground.
Yeah, it's not that hard to pour concrete. Just put up some boards. fill it with concrete and let it dry.
So
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot to concrete. You like if you have a big pad, you got to like do all kinds of shit to make sure it can expand and contract.
I'm just gonna let you guys know I'm a little bullish this week,
Oh, so am I.
which might be
Yeah, me
stupid, but okay, cool. So we're all on
I
the same page.
strangled Spy in Spirit of the Song.
The extent of my thesis is bulls must bounce it, therefore they will.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I kind of see them like just attempting a bounce though, and then it ultimately failing. Yeah.
That has also crossed my mind as a possibility. Yeah.
Like we might just go up like 100 bips and then just immediately fail because all the bulls are scared.
We have a lot of really important data this week. Like, don't forget that Jolts didn't come out last week, so we still have Jolts this week, which will be kind of like possibly the nail in the coffin on employment, which was already not great Friday.
Unemployment just really, I mean, I think people are finally warming up to like what the dynamic around unemployment actually is. Because
Well,
it's just like we
J-Fresh-
just continuously see this unemployment rate of 4 or 4.1.
Yeah.
But what's really creeping up is the U6 and the U7,
Yes.
which is including all this other stuff like people on the margins, right? And this is, I mean, people have been talking about this forever, that the gig economy is sort of delaying the unemployment, because unemployment is not, I mean, it doesn't completely supplement what you had before. And if you are like most Americans and you're spending 95% of your disposable income every month, just either to tread water or for whatever reasons, because that's what we do, then unemployment is a big hit to that, right? And so if you're given the choice of sitting around, shooting off 1,000 resumes to a bunch of AI bots that are never going to respond to you, or getting in your car, driving around town and making some cash, I think most people are still choosing those options to hustle, find ways to supplement that lost income.
So, J-Fresh, you want me to make you annoyed?
But
The only reason economists are actually accepting reality, or at least slowly coming to accept reality, is because of their political biases.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't think that's probably accurate. When you lack real data-driven rigor.
Wait, are you saying Keynesian economists lean left?
I'm saying that economists lean left.
Yeah.
But when you lack rational, like measurable rigor, like economics does,
Because it's not a real science.
Right. All you have are your personal biases.
Yeah.
Right. None of it's based on actual reality anyway. So it's all bias, all of it. So it doesn't, that statement doesn't shock me.
There's no clearer place to see this than the economics subreddit, where just 8 months ago, I would say something like, man, the debt is crappy and, it could lead to a recession if we cut back on government spending. And then everyone's like, oh, horse shit, man, debt doesn't matter, all this shit. And now you look at the economics subreddit, they're like, we're headed straight for an economic crisis because they're cutting government spending and our debt is too high and all this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys?
Well, to be fair, we did say that if anybody cut any government spending, our economy was fucked due to how much of the NGDP was directly related to government spending.
You know what all this tells me, Girk, is that Elon Musk is on the stream and he was listening to us the whole time, and now he's taking a chainsaw to the federal government.
No, because if Tesla goes under like 110 a share, he blows up because he has all those leverage loans that he had to take out to buy Twitter.
Which would be beautiful to see. I mean, have you
seen
how much? I mean, Tesla as a social entity has plunged so hard around the entire world. Like everybody just fucking hates it.
Have you looked at the Tesla weekly chart, dude? It's insane.
There was some really fun news around Tesla this weekend. Don't let me forget.
Okay, yeah, but I just want to say, like, nothing is nothing speaks more to the lack of like intelligence that Elon Musk has than to not recognize that his primary base of people who are buying his cars are like left-leaning people, you know, fart sniffers and eco-friendly people, like with a smattering of like, you know, Reddit nerds and, you know, speculators. And like he's basically just shitting on all of those people all at the same time with his Doge efforts and just kind of like shitting on himself.
Well, dude, he if you look at his post history from like, you know, something like 2018 through about 2018 through 2023, he's posting the most left-leaning shit ever and talking about how the environment is so important, and now he just completely
Yeah.
did an about face.
Yeah, well, carbon credits.
And you know who doesn't buy electric cars?
People who own lifted trucks.
Conservatives in the South who all own lifted trucks, right? Yeah.
Well, not only that, but
can't
the
tell
people
you,
who
it's
do
just
buy
like
cars
really-
are burning down his fucking dealerships in Europe.
I mean, the
And New
last
York
person
City.
I talked to that owned a Tesla was just like, yeah, I really regret buying it. I was like, yeah, you probably should. Tesla's make some of the most garbage cars ever. So it wasn't that.
Why do you sound like
Yeah.
a futuristic dystopian AI? Because this is JFresh GPT, live from the Toyota Sienna.
Actually, I'm in a rental because someone backed into my Toyota Sienna in the
Oh,
drive-through.
bastards. Speaking of which, that reminds me, I have to fill out a claim for my car that I've been ignoring for 2 months. 3, 4 months.
What happened?
Someone just rear-ended me. Like, when my family was visiting, we were on the Brooklyn Bridge, and some, like, traffic stopped, and this guy was going, like, 50 behind me. Wasn't paying attention. It didn't really do that much damage, surprisingly. It was like I was in, like, an SUV, and he was in, like, a Toyota Corolla. But he cheese wedged under the car and ripped the whole front end off of his. And like, but my bumper's like scratched up, so I should get that fixed.
Yeah. This asshole is in a truck, and I'm in a van, and his truck was so high he couldn't even see me. And he was like, "Yeah, the person in front of me started backing up," and so he started backing up. And I was like, "What are you doing?" I was just sitting there in the drive-thru, backed right into my front bumper.
At least he wasn't like a piece of shit who's like, "Oh, I wasn't backing up, you rear-ended me."
Wait, this is in Texas, dude. How were you not shot?
He was pretty chill.
He should have shot you. That's the Texas norm, right?
JFresh should have shot him, actually.
I think it was his first ever accident. It's just like, what do we do? Like,
that's how the insurance companies determine fault in Texas. It's whoever gets shot first was
the winner.
The winner of the duel.
The winner of the duel. That's right.
Yeah.
10 paces.
Yeah, I thought you guys just like when you drive around, you brandish a firearm out of like the window, right? Like you drive with the gun in your hand out the window.
That's only in Dallas.
Ah.
You guys are. Dallas is like Yuppieville now.
Fine, Houston.
Yeah, it's more like Houston. Yeah.
It used to just be both.
Yeah, like South Houston or like greater area of San Antonio. Like
rural Texas.
Yeah, like Dallas is super Yuppieville.
I'm thankful that I get Californians showing up to Nevada because they just drive like maniacs, but then when they crash, they die. So.
What is
that's because everyone in California goes 25 miles above the speed limit.
25 being generous.
Yeah.
What is the value proposition for you in that situation?
For me? Oh, yeah. So I just drive slow and I leave huge gaps between me and all the other cars, so they all swerve around me because I'm easy to pass, and then they go die like 2 miles up the road.
Yep.
And the dying break you just.
It's the best way to travel in California is you just stay in the right lane. And then let everybody fight over the other 4 lanes and just cause tons of traffic. And you just keep puttering along at like 10 miles an hour while they're all just like gridlocked with each other trying to like merge in front of everyone else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Or
crazy.
I will
stuck in the
say-
carpool lane.
I will say, if humanity could just embrace the zipper, everything would be a lot better immediately.
Dude, if humanity could actually figure out that driving is a task designed to get you from point A to point B safely and alive, we would be so much better off, right? If that was the goal, like, because you know the math, Jay Fresh, like people who like speed and then cut over 2 lanes to get off the freeway, like like from like a mile away or something. Like if you just drive like the speed limit to the exit, you are only quote unquote wasting something like a half a second to a couple seconds.
Yeah.
My favorite thing in the world is when someone like gets behind me and I'm going the speed limit and they like flash their lights or honk. And
Yeah.
like especially on a 1-lane road, and then I just slow down more. And then if they try to pass over the double yellow, I'll just swerve a little bit to scare them.
You're such a
Hey, guys.
cunt.
Guys, Mickey Mouse tracker. I just popped into Florida.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh, you're on your way
Congratulations.
to Florida.
Yeah, I
Nice.
just passed the sign that says Governor Ron DeSantis welcomes you. It's actually an animatronic. It's like a
Is it just
10x
him
blown up.
and drag just doing the
Yeah,
Macarena?
it's a 10x blown up animatronic sign with him waving, and
Does he have a huge dick?
and lifting up 1 foot at a time, showing off his big white boots.
Ah.
Yeah.
I wanna face swap Ron DeSantis into that Reno 911 gif where the guy gets his like new white cowboy boots.
And he's wearing
And he's just like jumping around in them.
Yeah, wait, who are we gonna put on the dude that likes to wear really short cutoffs and skates?
Ron DeSantis.
No. That's the cop with the white boots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the same
He
guy.
also wears short shorts. No. There's like that druggie,
Nick Swardson, the roller skater.
Yeah, the roller skater.
Yeah.
He also wears really short shorts and he like rolls around town trying to turn tricks.
Shit. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
That's a really specific role.
Who's
Wait, that's Trump.
Like immediately I hear turning tricks and I think of that one congresswoman.
Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, not
No,
her.
no.
The other one. The one who's actually a prostitute.
Bobert.
From
Yeah,
Colorado.
Bobert.
Yeah, Bobert. Yeah. It's got to be a man now. What about Lindsey Graham?
Actually.
Lindsey Graham is that one lady who's like the mom, like the mama bear, you know? That's Lindsey Graham.
Oh my god, yeah, JD Vance. Never mind. JD Vance as Nick Swardson.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That makes way more sense.
It does. It feels right.
Oh my god. Dude, Bobert is not hot. Are you kidding me?
Oh my
Ew.
God. Speaking of like putting people in drag, you want to know what was the absolute best drag of all time? And this is gonna suck because I've forgotten all the specifics. But so it was Zach. It was a show with Zach Galifianakis, and he was a clown. And he had a name. It was like Puddles, but it wasn't Puddles the clown. It was Baskets the clown. And his mom was played by oh my god, what's his name? It's like do you remember that comedian growing up and he had like a really big gap in his teeth?
Louis Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah.
His mom was played by Louis Anderson. Absolute best drag I've ever seen. I think Louis died recently, didn't he?
Did he? That would be sad.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he
Maybe I
did.
missed
Jan 21, 2022.
Yeah. Yeah, it was shortly after he played this role that he died. But this was like his last role he ever played. But he played Zach Galifianakis'
Zach
That's
Galifianakis is
fantastic.
funny as shit.
Yeah.
He's a good writer.
So,
I used to love watching Between Two Ferns.
That shit's so funny.
It is.
Yeah, Zach Galifianakis is probably one of the greatest comedians ever.
Most offensive questions. You're just like, oh, I'm just gonna have Barack Obama on for some reason, and I'm gonna ask him why his healthcare is so shit, or where he's from.
Right? Yeah. Dude, that guy is just an absolute genius, right? He's the lord of the anti-joke, right?
Yeah, deadpan. Well, what else is there to talk about other than
Bunch of data we're gonna
this is
bounce.
one thing I wanted, well, this is one thing I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to reiterate this. I know I talk about this a lot. I was like, you know what? People love to hear things over and over again. They don't understand it. But it's just really interesting this week because Trump and Bessent are like going around. It's mostly Bessent, but still Trump just going around saying like, there's going to be a readjustment period, right? Like, assets are too high. We want to get the 10-year yield down. We know that the only way we're going to get you pigs to eat that slop is to ruin everything else. And so it's a really interesting time of like, people have been fighting the Fed and fighting the government for a long time. Are they going to continue to do that with this signaling? Partially because they have to, and partially because, what's the spending bill going to be? Because ultimately, if the spending bill is still high, they probably have a shot to get out of it. Which also, do we know when the extraordinary measures are slated to run out? It's supposed to be like within a week or two, right?
For what?
So that's for spending
TGA.
the debt ceiling.
Yeah, Trump said we can fix the budget next year.
No. But I'm saying if Congress, because Congress is going to have to pass something, or else the government's going to have to shut down.
Yeah, which would be perfect, right? That's the Doge dream.
Right, I get that, but I don't think Congress wants that. So when is that done?
Oh, because they're government employees. I forget that they don't just get paid from insider trading.
Well,
sometimes.
It's also terribly unpopular, which is why they haven't really wanted to do it to the extent that they did it back in 2014 or late 2013. So I think that is important to know that, if they pass a budget this week or next week, because the time is running out, and that budget includes a lot of spending, then I think that's a great signal to people of like, hey, this party rolls on. Doge isn't really having that much of an effect. Congress is going to fight their efforts to reduce, piddly amounts of spending on DEI and other things.
Oh, so it's going to signal to people the things that are already blatantly obvious?
Yes, but it will give them a reason to pump.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Like it aligned.
When's our next refunding announcement? Next month? April?
April? Yeah.
Okay.
I think early April. But yeah, so I think obviously they're going to keep doing shorter term stuff because Bessent is a bitch, just like Yellen.
He's exactly like Yellen because he's kept all of her fiscal policies in place.
Yeah.
He is just like a less, succulently bodied Yellen.
Yeah, just imagine somebody just thinking like, looking at Yellen, observing how she's run the Treasury, where you're thinking, I want to be just like her. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still stuck on the image in my mind of Jerome Powell on stage trying to catch Janet Yellen as she's scuttling around the stage. super short and squat, and he's just, you know, like a baseball player trying to catch a ground ball.
Yeah, what's the Fed up to? Has anybody even been paying attention to them lately?
J Powell
The Fed
spoke
basically
on
said-
Friday.
Are they
He said
completely
everything's
Yeah, he does.
fine and exactly as he planned.
Well, he also said that, like, basically we don't
Cool.
know what the fuck's going to happen with all this stupid Trump shit, so we just have to wait.
Yeah. But that was overall viewed bullishly.
Yeah, because it means that the Fed is data dependent. It's a hawkish
Yeah,
pause.
okay.
Wait, no, sorry, dovish pause. Wait,
Dovish pause.
hawkish, dovish hike. What?
Oh, not yet. I can't wait for the dovish hike though. And he did say Volcker.
I think we're still in hawkish ease, right?
Kind of.
Yeah,
But
we're in
on
a
hold
we're in
because
a
Trump.
hawkish rate cutting environment that may have some increases.
We're in a mixed family with a hawk and a dove who have adopted Jerome Powell as their fur baby, as he's a puppy.
The problem with Powell is that
I can't keep track of that.
he is effervescently dovish anytime he's interviewed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
want one of those people to actually speak plainly. But I feel like if they spoke plainly, it'd be too obvious they're
Like when he does his like
institutions
Fed
designed
pressers. But when he does his Fed pressers, he's like very by the book and like relaying, you know, the narrative of the Fed. But anytime somebody gets him outside of that, he's just like he's so dovish it's cringy. He's just a positive dude. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think given that the Fed has a long-standing history of always being behind the curve, I think that dovishness is probably misplaced, and it's more ignorance than anything else. Maybe throw in some wishful thinking. Yeah, I don't think they really have much. I mean, the only thing they really have on their side is that a big old fat economy moves really slowly. So
I think
it'll take a
he
long
just
time to realize
I think
he's
he
wrong.
just like thinks he can juggle the hot potato until inflation normalizes.
Mm.
I think he really believes
So
that.
So he still thinks he's doing something.
Yeah.
It just boggles that any of the Fed presidents think that they're doing anything.
He could do something. He could raise rates back to 5.5%.
They're all just sitting in a room, circle jerking each other, trying to figure out where they think our star is, and it's either 3% below us or 2% above us, or anywhere in between.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So back to Besant and talking about the adjustment period because he wants people to buy the bonds. This is the point that I wanted to hammer home over and over again, is that we are in a different environment where, yes, historically, the correlation is stocks and bonds go in the opposite direction, because the idea being that if people are bearish or scared or risk averse, they will sell their risk assets and buy what they consider to be less risky or even risk-free assets, which are, you know, bills, bonds, that kind of thing, treasuries in general.
Mm-hmm.
And that has worked because historically debt has been a lot smaller than the money supply. Like the government debt is much smaller than the money supply. Most of the money supply has been driven by, you know, private growth for most of the time, right? With the exception of but the actual deficits of things pittance, right, compared to the actual the growth of the supply was largely driven by private credit expansion. Now we're in a situation where the money supply is being primarily driven by two things. One is deficit spending, which is then being levered up into the stock market as leverage, as margin. And so what happens if you kill margin in the stock market? You actually get a double whammy. So the first thing, you're going to kill the money supply. You're going to kill credit by killing the stock market, which is then going to bleed over into, hey, all of the new money being created is essentially just being created due to the issuance of new debt. And so if the money supply is now dropping while you are still issuing large amounts of debt, it's going to be even harder to buy your 10 years than it is now. So, right, and this is like the thing where the only way that the government could hope to get out of this relatively painlessly is through growth, not through, trying to like do all of these other methods, right? But we can't grow because there's this big, xenophobic push to get rid of all the immigrants, things like that. And nobody here's having babies because everyone's just has economic anxiety and they're gonna fucking. So there's just all these issues with this strategy, and I think it's going to fail spectacularly. Now, of course, we're kind of already seeing that, right? I haven't had a whole lot of time to watch the market intraday, but one thing I have been looking at each day, I'll take a note of, what are the indices doing? What is the Mag 7 doing? And what is TLT doing? And typically on big down days, TLT is also down, which is kind of what I am expecting based on the framework that I just laid out, which is the opposite of what Besson and Trump want, which is they want stocks down, TLT up.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, yeah, I think yes, there was a reflexive jump into TLT bonds that, obviously, all of the bond bulls jumped on and said, you guys were all wrong. You guys are all, negative Nancy's. Stocks down, bonds up. That's the way it's always been. We're right. You're wrong. You're stupid. But yeah, I think I'm kind of seeing. Yeah, this was just, there will be speculative spikes because everybody believes stocks down, bonds up. So they will speculate there. But at the end of the day, unless there are long-term structural changes to how much we spend, and how much money we're creating, we will be issuing debt faster than the money supply, which means to maintain low rates, people must allocate more and more and more of their portfolios to bonds than they traditionally would. So I don't know, a crash or a decline is not going to. There's only so much you can allocate, right? To that. At some point, people have to eat. People need some amount of cash.
Well, so JFresh, there's one thing that I think that you're not necessarily missing, and I think it is happening right now based on what you say about margin. But there's going to be a sharp increase in risk-taking behavior by lenders as this goes on. So the capacity for the market to handle like these treasury issuances and stuff is pretty wild. But what you can, sort of do is collateralize all kinds of stupid shit to be able to buy those treasuries. Like you could take your BBBY bonds and turn them into same like treasuries and then go and fucking use that to go buy more
Well,
treasuries.
okay, so and there's also an argument to say, well, the banks actually have a lot of cash relative to historical norms, so they could simply just go and buy it. But again, there's a problem with this dynamic is that how much runway do you really have to do that? Because you are if you're just thinking about the banks, then they are still pumping money in, replacing cash with what they perceive as risk, right? They're just buying more tail risk and duration risk with all of these bonds, and those bonds are yielding less than the rate at which they have to pump money in to buy more bonds. So that's not a desirable situation where you can say, okay, well, for in perpetuity until something changes, I will have to buy $2 worth of bonds every year to get $1 back. And so if you think about that not as like an investment that has a payoff date, but as a
Yep.
We lost him.
Yep, we lost him.
He's done. He's gone. Kenny got him. Kenny just hanging out on the side of the street with an RPG.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now we can hear you.
Sorry, I got a spam call. Yeah, so if you think about this, this is not like, oh, I'm going to buy some bonds and it's going to have a payoff at some point. So I put in $1 and at the end I get $1, you know, $1.40, whatever. You think about it as this continuous process. Is that every year I have to put in $2 to get $1 back. When you think about it that way, it's this continuous process.
It sounds like a squeeze.
It's a much less palatable thing. Like, why
It sounds
would
like
a bank do that in perpetuity? There must be some relief somewhere that stops or changes that trajectory, because they're not going to want to just spend $2 to get $1 forever.
Sounds like a liquidity squeeze.
And every time they convert cash to bonds, you know, if they want to raise cash, they have to issue credit. But if nobody's taking credit because margins collapsing in the market, and that's the only place where credit is really expanding, then, you know, they just have to start buying shitty bonds. So I think rates have to raise. Either that, well, actually, paradoxically, if the Fed dropped interest rates, they would drop the amount of return that people got on the short end, which would actually incentivize them to go towards the long end. So it's another like paradox of that system, where the Fed thinks, well, if I drop rates, I'm going to, you know, increase credit expansion. But I think in reality, probably right now, if they dropped rates, they would actually just get the long end down, because people would have to go seek yield elsewhere.
Well,
Yep.
or just the bond market pushes back, doesn't buy at the long end, and the long end rises anyway.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Which is
though,
what's been
is that
happening.
it has to be bought, right? There is no option to not.
They can buy at a minimal enough level that there's I mean, yeah, prime dealers have to participate for liquidity purposes, but they, you know, if those bid to covers keep rising, maybe. But I mean, so far they've been hesitant to buy anything. Primary dealers taking like 10% of every auction is not gonna like drive the yields down at the top end.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah, if primary dealers are like, oh yeah, I'll snap some of that up, sure, but they're just absolutely not going to buy any of that shit under, you know, like 4 or 5, and really they don't want to buy it under 6. So I mean, eventually the drift is just going to drag the yields higher again, which I mean, which kind of fits with everything we expect, right? As you get that leverage pumped up, you turn the market around, you pump equities while the leverage dies, and then, you know, and then you want to go long bonds again at the top, which is like basically what we've seen for the last 2 years now.
yeah.
Except now it's like that conversion is starting to like slow down a lot, right? Like people don't want to buy bonds at the top end because they're not high enough. Like Jan, we had the 20-year hit around like 5%, and we started to see interest pick up in it, and that's kind of when the market started to get real choppy and weird. and trade flat. And then, but then we saw yields just crater over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's definitely a floor there, right?
Yeah. So that like cyclical action is still ongoing because the banks have to net off that risk. And it's so much risk that it's just like one cycle is not enough, but those cycles are becoming like more unstable every time.
The golden biscuits.
Yeah.
Sorry, PTSD. Anyway, yeah, I think that's another interesting point too, because a lot of people have been commenting on how people are selling off the Mag 7 and treating that as like a castigation of the AI story. I don't really think that's happening yet. I mean, I think that the general public is still pretty bullish on AI and still kind of believes like, yeah, there might be some short-term issues, but it's still going to change the world and it's still going to be this like massive thing that is unstoppable and it's inevitable. And I don't think that sentiment is fully shifted other than, more short-term concerns. Yeah, I think it's what you're saying. I think it's just people, big people just de-risking the thing they hold a lot of. I think it's probably more macroeconomically driven than, AI story driven.
I think you're right.
So what does that mean for AI? I mean, at the same time, though, it's like, AI could go bust at any moment. And I think there is some anxiety there about like, maybe it'll change the world, but are the current people who are at the top, are they going to still be at the top when we get to nirvana? Or are they going to be, or will they explode and from the ashes rise the actual winners? I think there's a little bit of that going on as well, especially because OpenAI is absolutely fucked. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that they're offering? They're considering offering a chatbot agent at $20,000 a month.
Jesus Christ, how useless.
And they call it the PhD level agent. I can
Nice.
hire 4, maybe 5.
Are you making
PhDs
$20,000 a month? Jay Brush, are you jealous of the chatbot?
But now here I am, facing the realization that I would be willing to undercut the chatbot as a marketing strategy. Like, I'll do whatever that chatbot's doing for 3 quarters, whatever.
Yeah, and have actual PhDs.
I still think they need to just send one of these PhD level chatbots to school, get them into grad school, run them through the paces.
Yeah, they really should.
It reminds me of that scene from Ace Ventura where he's like in the police station and the guy kills a cockroach and he's like, solve this. And he's like, well, first the killer saw the size of the bug's dick.
Wait, Jay Fresh.
I became incensed with jealousy.
So here's my theory. I think the $20,000 a month plan is just what they need to sell their service for to be profitable.
Do you think there's a margin tacked onto that? I wonder how many people will buy it with like venture capital money.
Well, everything, it sounds like even their $200 a month plan, they're losing money on every single $200 a month plan.
Wait, what if you're like a venture capitalist and you're personally long like a bunch of NVIDIA? And then you direct
like NVIDIA?
Yeah. And you direct all of the companies that you provide funds to buy like OpenAI and ChatGPT, like and NVIDIA products.
this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing that I cannot understand, especially and this has always been weird
Oh
to
my
me,
God.
but especially now in the era of DeepSeek, where they're just like, yeah, we went around CUDA and we just went straight to we hooked up straight to the hardware level, and
Yeah.
we completely bypassed that, higher level, intermediary in that process, which is what NVIDIA basically sells to these researchers who aren't real programmers, because if they were real programmers, none of them would rely so heavily on CUDA for such a high price. Anyway, I digress. You have a situation where it's already been demonstrated that you can make exceedingly large gains and gain a lot of advantage from a cost perspective by just circumventing anything that makes NVIDIA unique. And yet here we are still only talking about buying those chips. How could it be, if you actually wanted to be competitive in this cost constrained market, that nobody is willing to put in the work to build this on cheaper chips? It
Because they're
just blows my
stupid.
mind. It blows my mind
Oh, well, no,
because
hold on. Hold on. I'm thinking about this. And this is a great way to make a ton of money.
The
If
money
you're
goes in
like,
a circle, Jake Rush.
yeah, if you're on like the board of a venture capital firm and you're responsible for divesting all of this capital to all of these startups, all these AI startups, right? And you're directing a lot of their capex. And then you're also just long as fuck NVIDIA, like personally. You gotta create a multiplier, like a direct multiplier for your money. Like you tell all of the firms that you're working with to buy NVIDIA products and buy NVIDIA
yeah,
shit,
I
and
mean,
you're paying out like 6% of the total money going to that startup, right, out of your own pocket. But on the other side, 50% of your assets are just NVIDIA.
yeah, I mean, they're I mean, it would be hard to prove, but I
I
mean, I
actually
think
think
that
that would be really easy to prove.
well, yes, I mean, but
Like the
yeah,
best
just
the best fraud is always the most identifiable.
well, sure, it is convenient because it does provide a narrower, smaller, uh, source of decision making, right? So if it's yes, there's hundreds or thousands of these AI companies, they're all using NVIDIA chips. But they're really all only being funded by this cadre of like 12 VC firms that are all kind of they all go to the same dinner parties and basically have all adopted the exact same strategy, and they're all kind of in this together.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be it is convenient in a number of ways. It's improved, but it's certainly convenient.
It makes sense. I mean, if nothing else, it's a great hedge.
Yeah, and who cares, right? Because the chips sell themselves. Chips make their own money, right? Because NVIDIA, when they started selling H100s, the way they sold it was, you can buy an H100 for this much dollar per compute hour, and you can make this much dollar per compute hour, so it pays for itself in like 1 or 2 years and $4 or $5 an hour. Um, they basically sold it as a money making rent seeking tool. It wasn't a technology, it was a financial instrument, which is why everybody treated it like a financial instrument. There were all those strange deals where things were, people were raising debt on top of H100s as collateral. Um, yeah, it is a financial instrument that the VCs are wielding, and on top of that, if one of these AI companies manages to do something of value, great. If not, I don't know. They all sold compute to each other. I'm not really sure how that works out. At the very least, they're extracting something from. They have to be extracting. Well, because I think of like Microsoft, and they seem to their relationship with OpenAI seem to have soured quite greatly, especially in the recent weeks. which I kind of saw coming. I think about the time when I remember I noted I saw an interview with what's his name? Thinking of Sundar, but he's Google. It's the CEO.
Satya Nadella.
Satya, yeah. The interview with Satya, and he was talking about OpenAI, and he specifically, there's a point in the interview where it was being videotaped, where he was talking about Sam Altman and his OpenAI outfit and how much money they put in, and he was talking about how great that relationship has been and how much they have faith in Sam Altman. And while he was doing that, if you actually looked at his expressions, he was grinding his teeth, and his hands were in a fist, and he was making like a slamming motion, like he was literally pounding on the dead body of Sam Altman while he was singing his praises with his mouth. And I think that was kind of an actual signal. I know that this is pseudoscience, reading people it's difficult, but I'm not very good at reading people, and I saw that and it was jarring to me. I was like, he looks really angry right now. But if you hear his words were soft and praiseworthy, but his body was just very angry. And,
Was this the same interview where he said that they bet the farm on OpenAI?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember he was like yelling during it too. He was like shouting the whole time.
Well, he does that a lot. Have you ever listened to one of his earnings calls? It's like he's very aggressive. It's like it's overwhelming. It's just like it induces anxiety and panic, and he's not able to speak. It's just like he's just going hard, like he's on something.
Yeah,
But anyway,
no, that was a weird interview.
So like that's souring, and so you have to think about like what did they lose in that process and who gained, right? So probably VCs gained something off of Microsoft for that deal, with all that NVIDIA chips and things kind of buried in there, and because you see things like CoreWeave, for example. CoreWeave is trying to go public. I don't know how many people are aware of that. And so they're starting to do some of their filings for IPO. And lo and behold, 62% of all of their compute contracts are with Microsoft. 62 fucking percent. It's just Microsoft. Who owns
I bet
CoreWeave? All of these VCs. Who owns CoreWeave? NVIDIA owns pieces of CoreWeave, right?
Yeah.
So all of these people are using, including NVIDIA, are using their chips as a financial instrument.
Which goes back to what I just said
money,
about VC coming in and forcing startups to buy their products.
But this is kind of interesting, and I'm certainly thinking on the fly here, but it's kind of interesting because the narrative this whole time has just been, oh, these big companies are building all of this infrastructure because they are going to make money off of it regardless. But I think that might not be the actual story. I think the story might be Microsoft is getting fucked by the VCs and NVIDIA.
Yeah, I think Satya's pissed off because he might have gotten roped into some huge fucking scandal.
The only one that hasn't?
They all. I mean,
Google.
Their own stupid. No, Apple. Their own stupidity left them there, though. Their own stupidity left them there. All you had to do was not be a fucking moron. To not spend $100 billion on chips for a technology that fundamentally cannot do any of the things that are being promised, right? That's all they had to do is use their fucking brain. But instead, they just went with, lazy narratives. And this is exactly.
The thing was, Jay Fresh, and this is the unfortunate part, right, is that all of these corporate types, they're not idiots, okay? They're smart, and they know to trust their science guys, and the science guys just went full boner on AI because they were probably going to get a shit ton more money.
I don't think that's true either. I think what happened...
I would push back on that. C-suites are actually retarded.
No, I think what actually happened is you have the major cloud providers, with the exception of Google, like Microsoft and Amazon, that had to step up or risk being beat to market. So it was either spend the money where the demand is and potentially lose it, or risk that your competitor gets ahead of you. They spend the money on AI, you don't, and they generate the short-term demand. So, they were trapped by the sentiment surrounding AI because in order to meet the needs of the market, the capex was necessary.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it from the, if you think that people like Sam Altman being aligned with the VCs and interests, then it's the perfect trap laid for the hyperscalers.
Yeah, because I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, like, if you're Microsoft and you don't spend the money, AWS romps you in the next 4 quarters of earnings.
And now we've got Chris from Azure AI Services calling me every fucking 4 days
Did
asking
you
me to
ask
set up
him?
for
Did
dinner.
you ask him if he could, if he will be our personal agentic AI assistant?
No, I haven't returned any of his phone calls
Uh,
because I don't want to. He'll never leave me alone if I actually
how
acknowledge he
much free
exists.
money will Microsoft give us for using AI? Because we could make like a Gurk GPT,
I
and it
don't know. I
just it
think they
just tells
probably want to.
people that they're like it just asks people how did you not make money off that?
I mean, obviously their goal is they want us to integrate AI into our current stack while we have their free credits, so that when the credits run out, we just keep paying for their AI because it's already integrated into our stack.
Did you see
I don't fall
the
for that
Signal
shit. What do I need
CEO
AI for?
finally came out and like shit all over AI?
No.
Yeah, she did like an interview where she's like, "This thing is just full of like
Wait, who is this?
massive security issues." The CEO of Signal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's like, "This is the most insecure like platform I've ever encountered, and there's no way that that's like fit to be used at scale due to just the security concerns alone."
That's great. I mean, it's so obvious, though, right? Like, that's the frustrating thing. It's great that people are speaking up now, but where were all these fucking people 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, they were getting
Buying NVIDIA
rich.
stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's time to sell, and they need the liquidity. Speaking of which, I'm gonna short Treasury bond futures, ultra bond futures, because Kenny's gonna short them, and so is everyone else.
Okay.
So what do you think? We get like two big down days in ultra bond futures, and then we see where inflation falls. And then if
Yeah.
inflation is up, if inflation is up, everybody goes long bonds again, and the market tanks. If inflation is flat or down, everybody just keeps shorting UB into the dirt. So TLT back to 85, and then SPX back to like 6,000. And then we wait for the next fuck up.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Wait,
makes sense.
what data do we have coming out this week? You said we have
We have
jolts.
CPI, JOLTS, PPI,
Oh,
Michigan
nice.
Consumer.
Whole litany of data. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get
This
some
is a
like
fun week.
foreign GDP shit. We get German inflation, which is going to be kind of important for the dollar right now because the euro is just curb stomping the dollar over the last week. I think China's National People's Congress is going on this week, and so we're going to get a bunch of like falsified economic data from China when that's over. And then Japanese GDP is on Monday, which is expected to grow a lot. And that's gonna hurt
Real
the
or
carry.
nominal?
Yeah. So I think they've got like maybe 1 or 2 days to get some stability back. But unfortunately, stability is 5% to the upside on SPX. So I don't know. I don't know if that's possible given the current positioning. There's a lot of delta in the money that the kids squeeze, but man, they've got to pump the living fuck out of this to get
That's why I strangled, dude.
Yeah.
to get it anywhere to get it even anywhere remotely stable, like on the options chain. This needs to go up like 4.5 to 5%.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is I'm gonna make a half baked semi prediction for next week. if we close this week below 5,800, we're crashing this week.
You mean after OPEX? We're crashing after OPEX.
No, this would be into OPEX.
Well, okay, fine. SLD.
No. Wait, isn't OPEX this week or is it next week?
So the
It's
21st.
next week. Oh, yeah. It is next week. So, yeah.
Wait, what's?
I mean, but you might not be wrong, though, JFresh, because Charm at that point will just be an absolute, like, wet blanket on the market.
Yeah, I think if we go into the week of the 21st with like under 5,800, they'll have to fight back against the charm flows.
For some reason, I thought it was.
They're already going to have to fight back against it.
We need like
we're getting close.
6 days of pump at an average of 1% a day.
Yeah, we need a
and
crazy
even then,
bounce
we
before next week, yeah.
probably still have a decent chance of crashing on OPEX.
Right. Yeah. The rescue operation alone might be enough to set this thing off.
Yeah, because if anybody takes profit on that, everybody else is still fucked.
This is an interesting point. We are so deep in the puts that as those puts start to decay, they will actually have an upward pressure on the market.
No, they won't. Because they're in the money short puts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm getting it backwards. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a wet fucking blanket.
So we've got to push. We've got to push up above all the in the money put delta.
Yeah. Where? How far above from us now on macro are we for the max leverage on puts?
Like 104.
1.04 to the max, to the peak.
To the peak of leverage.
Yeah.
The peak is 2.4, so 2.5, 2.4%.
Yeah, so they've got to pump about 2.5%.
But that's also gonna like skew to where moneyness falls, right? Like where 1.10 falls. So like if they get it up that high, they probably need to push it out to like 4.1 or like to get the majority of the put leverage back in the money. They need to push this shit up like 5%. 4.49, like 1.049. To get to the other side of the hump.
Yeah. So we'll just say they need a minimum of 2.5 and probably more like 3.5 or 4%.
Yeah.
That's some deep shit.
It has been done many times before. Can they do it again? I don't know.
That's true.
So the question is CPI going to throw a wrench in the works? Oh, Dork, can we replicate a long variance swap on SPX?
That's called VIX.
No.
Oh. I mean, we could, but
we just have to buy like a bunch of. We just have to buy like a bunch of far-dated, really far out of the money SPX calls.
Yeah,
and sell some puts.
It's a variance swap at what time frame? So VIX is a variance swap
at 30 days.
30 days is VIX.
We need shorter than that.
VIX 10 day.
Well, okay, so we know they've got. We know they've got
VIX 1 day.
We know they have about 14 days to move the market 4%.
Yeah.
So we need like 90-day calls. So you could sell like the in the money put. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up option strat. So you can sell the in the money put at 5,900, and then you buy like the 950, 6,000, 6050, and 6,100. You could probably even lever up. Well, hold on. You got to change.
Are you trying to actually just create a synthetic variance swap to try to cash in on this shit?
I'm thinking about it, just like right now.
Just buy like $100 wide fucking strangles.
No. I need March 21, and then I need the April expiry on the call side.
Oh, you're getting fancy.
He's getting gnarly. He's going in the weeds. He wants to lever up his margin to the max, bro.
It's like a variance calendar spread.
Oh, it's still positive credit. All right, and then hold on.
Jesus Christ.
If we move up 5%, let's say 4, we move up 4%, and vol drops 5%. Let's say 10%. That's not enough. I need more theta.
Dude, it looks like if vol drops, you're going to get margin called immediately.
That's why I need more theta. Where am I going to get margin called?
Because you're selling a 5,900 put and buying shit that's like $150 out of money.
That's portfolio margin. Don't be ignorant, dork. That's not how margin works.
You're just being ignorant. You're ignorant. That's just ignorant.
I need to sell 2 puts. And then we need
God,
to go
you're
up
a sick fuck.
4%, 4.2%, 4.3%.
Well, what you should do is you should
There
sell
we
a
go.
spread of puts, not just 2 5,900s. I mean, you're exposing yourself to a shit ton of negative delta.
I am. But I don't
Like, you should
care.
probably be selling, you should be levering up into like a fucking crazy bear put spreads, you know?
I could do that too. That's not as good though.
It's not, but that's because you don't want to get margin called.
I'm not going to get margin called. The market would have to drop to like $2,000 for me to get margin called. And I'd only hold this open until like the 15th.
I feel like this is
19th.
the start of an It's All Sunny in Philadelphia episode where the title of it is called "The Gang Gets Margin Called."
Because
Is that the episode? Is that the episode of our day trader sitcom?
Yeah.
The pod shop gets blown up.
The Gang Gets Margin Called episode
yeah, so
5, season 1.
So I can make like 75 grand on a $22,000 credit on a test of, and yeah, I've got plenty of padding on the credit alone.
I mean, if you really believe bulls have that much spunk in them, I mean, I guess you only really need a 2% move to have it be like a crazy sharp ratio. But like,
Yeah,
if the market chops for like 2 days, like it's gonna be insane to watch.
I mean, I would close like half of this at a test of 58.50 anyway.
Yeah,
Like I'd be out of the puts completely.
but what if we just bear flag all week, dude, and we only make it to like 5,800, and vol just tanks?
Oh, this isn't showing me the profitability on the call side because option strat sucks.
What are you gonna
Nice.
make us build an option strat into our canvas straight to?
That would be crazy.
I would love to. I mean, we could. It's a matter of the infrastructure.
Hmm.
Yeah, Gen's
All
down.
right.
I think it would be cool to offer it.
Ooh, and then I could just go like,
Girk, you would literally never sleep if we had that feature.
ever. Yeah, that's true.
Like you would probably die of like heart failure because you just don't sleep.
I just keep back testing things until I got 100% returns.
Yeah, and then you go try it the first day and instantly lose everything.
Yep.
Beautiful. I've
already-
never done that before.
I already found, I was telling Nuke, I found one strategy that I've been like live testing that so far is at like 97.8% returns. Although
what's your sample size?
like 95 days now.
Ooh,
It's not bad.
not bad.
Once JFresh learns Black Shoals, you may finally be able to.
Wow.
Yeah.
J-Fresh, response.
Popcorn trader from the top rope.
I don't know. Popcorn trader's an engineer, so he knows that the deepest, darkest secret of all engineers is that they're scared of math. I tell that to my undergrad students all the time. That they say, but they also know it's true because they're afraid of math.
Yeah, you make
And
the
then I show them
physicist do the
some
math.
And then I show them some math that they're afraid of, and then I'm just like, all right, then if we linearize it, squareize, and just do this. Multiply by 2, done.
Selling vol when it's way above historic IV is super fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
So no, that's not the strategy.
Yeah, then you're just Kenny.
Yeah, that's what Kenny does. That's a very scalable strategy, however.
Dude, Kenny fucked me over on the move up.
Yeah.
I was like green on my strangle, and then
So
just
he
there was
just
that
sold-
one
he
little
sold
like
your-
red
he sold your
candle.
call.
Yeah, and it fucking rugged me, dude. Like my entire strangle went from like being up like $50 to like being down $30. I was like, what the fuck, dude? In like one candle. It was crazy.
Wait, and you were still able to afford the ingredients to make the fusion? Or were you just making your own bread? You can't afford your
How much does he can't afford to buy his own bread?
your bespoke bakery.
Well, I already sold the donkey that runs the grind mill, so I have to hand grind my wheat.
$30 down. He's not going to eat another pork chop until April.
Yeah, I know. I've had to cut my caloric intake to nothing but Pop-Tarts.
You know what? I've been there. When I was in grad school, I'm not going to lie, there are many times where I'm just like, you know what? I could get enough calories to hold me over for like $1.80 if I just eat these Pop-Tarts.
Oh, dude, overnight oats and Pop-Tarts have the highest calories per dollar of anything out there.
Yeah.
So,
Pop-Tarts
like, yeah,
are so
I've done the
bad,
math.
though. Just like you eat the Pop-Tart, you're just like, I just ate like mud with like glue in it, like red glue.
It's carbohydrate mud. It's basically space food.
It really is. Although there's probably too much water in the paste inside.
That's true. Yeah, in the sugary paste.
Yeah, I don't know if you can call it a jam, like a jam product.
No,
Paste product.
I just get the brown sugar cinnamon ones.
A fruit. Oh yeah, that's a good call. Yeah.
Those are the ones that you could eat every day and not get tired of because they taste just good enough and just bland enough that you don't care.
Yeah, it's like maple cinnamon, like oatmeal kind of thing.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing, which I ate a lot of as well with water because milk is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Plus, they also gave it away a lot at the food pantry too.
Oh
so.
man, how many? Do you think today's like college savings is like? I'll get the pancake mix and I'll just use water. I won't put any eggs in it because eggs are so expensive.
I mean, honestly, like, we're already at the point now. I mean, you see people fucking buying chickens and shit, thinking
Oh,
that's
true.
gonna, yeah.
Dork.
Yeah.
Like, if you're rich, you buy chickens. If you're poor, you buy pancake mix and don't use eggs.
My 9-year-old son, he has a semi-serious girlfriend, as serious as a 9-year-old can have. His family has chickens, and he's afraid to go out and hang out with the chickens. I said, you know what?
You should
This might be
enroll
the
them in
future.
4-H.
Yeah, it's going to be chickens in the future. I said, you need to embrace the chicken.
Get him into 4-H,
chickens,
dude. Get him into 4-H where he could raise chickens and pigs and stuff.
How is Dork still this poor? Because every time he makes money in his trading account, he takes 100% of it and puts it towards his new dubs.
I honestly, like, this is the first time I haven't had to
pork
do that, and it
chops.
feels kind of nice.
Yeah, this is the
But
first
I'm just-
time that you haven't directly drawn down your trading account in a long time.
Yeah, well, and it sucks because, come tax season, I still owe like a few $100 on that profit too. But it's, you know what though? I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop now, like my fridge breaks or something, and I'm like, well,
Isn't the IRS defunct now?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I don't want to go to
that's-
debtor's prison.
Yeah, that'll be the next thing.
Yeah.
That's not, you know, that's not a real thing.
Wait, they're gonna
now,
start-
right?
Wait, they're gonna start putting white people in prison?
Not at first. We got a couple years.
Yeah.
But Dork's, you know, like 1/10 Native American, so
I
If you-
keep
if you-
forgetting that. Pocahontas.
If you looked at my wheels right now, chat, I do not have dubs. I have
No
I
way.
have I have capless steel fucking pieces of shit.
that's nice.
If
Yeah,
it
those
was-
are the best rims. They're hard to
The
bend.
rust bucket rims.
The
Yeah.
fucking aluminum rims suck. You can take a pothole on
If
those
Elizabeth
14-inch steel
Warren-
rims like nobody's business.
Fucking A.
If Elizabeth Warren is Pocahontas, then it's Dork Sacagawea.
Yeah. Wait, are you Lewis?
I would love to be Geronimo. Can I be Geronimo?
No, you look too hot on girls.
That's true.
Yeah, you're definitely a sucker.
Okay, Dork, I've been fucking with this and I've got it up to 30,000% returns at a 4.5% move to the upside.
God, you're such a fucking degenerate, dude.
It's a
What about on the
50
downside? Do you lose everything immediately?
No. Like, if we fell 5%, I'd lose 100 grand.
Jesus Christ.
And I could hedge that off. Just buy puts. It's so easy.
Okay, fucking then do it then, fucking mister. I can go and leverage up, $500,000 in portfolio margin into some move that could end up
I'm
going
not,
to the
it's a
moon,
net
or-
credit of $350, okay?
How much portfolio margin are you eating?
I don't know. I mean, not unless we drop.
Doesn't eat the margin until it moves against him.
Yeah.
Can you wait, Kirk? I need to know the portfolio margin as a percentage of the mean value of a house in America.
100%.
You mean the median?
Yeah,
It's a house, but
it's
350
one
net
household
credit.
margin here.
350
Sick fuck.
net credit.
You're like, I could go and take these assets and buy a house with it, or calls to the moon.
Well,
What's he gonna do with an overpriced house?
yeah.
Let me live in it for free.
Is my wait? Hold on. Is my house gonna go up 30,000% in 2 days?
Well,
Because I'll buy
I
the
mean,
house.
maybe not 2 days.
Oh, fuck that then. No, I mean it's like
I go down
11,000 risk to the downside, and if we move down, I can just buy puts. You just
Are
buy
you guys
puts and
excited for
close
housing
everything
costs?
out.
Are you guys excited for housing costs not to go down when we get into the recession?
They will.
No,
They'll
they
have
won't.
to. Have you seen?
They
Have you
will,
seen
because
inventories?
Oh, yeah, there's
Inventories
crazy.
and defaults are skyrocketing, and the banks don't have enough cash on hand to like buy up the dip.
We talk about banks, but you're not talking about the shadow banks.
Private equity definitely doesn't have enough money to
Yeah,
buy
what
up the dip. They're more fucked
think-
than the banks.
What about all those?
They just don't have any reporting
What about all those
requirements.
FHA loan payments? The FHA stops paying loans for people. It's gonna be-
That's waste, fraud, and abuse, if you ask me.
Trump's been golfing like 3 times a week on the taxpayer dollar. What's that?
I don't fucking know.
JFresh broke again.
Wait, we got to get more. We got to buy more Chat GPT coins and feed them into JFresh, and he'll start talking again. Give me like 10 grand, Girk, and then I'll get him going.
Yeah, I cost 20,000.
I can't believe JFresh doesn't have portfolio margin with all his massive treasury holdings.
Does he even have a margin account?
Are you cash now? Have you like rolled off all your treasuries already? I can't hear him. Oh, he's with his wife. He can't talk about it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
No, I'm speaking.
Yeah, but we can't hear you.
You got
You have to. We've told you before. You have to turn your head up and face the microphone.
no. I'm His headphones.
Oh, well, you have bad
Well,
service.
it's because
and
he's in Florida. They don't have
Yeah.
5G.
He's in the Florida Panhandle on 3G right now.
Yeah.
It's true. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, it's true. I am in the Florida Panhandle on shitty service.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm marching our account. I just haven't really had much time to trade.
Yeah, that's fair. Have to
Definitely
wreck.
bit
Right
off more
back.
than I could chew in some projects at work, and trying to wrap a bunch of shit up before I left for this trip, because I actually have a prayer review this week. I'm going to be able to say we did it from Orlando, and not like I'm in Orlando and we didn't do it.
I like the winter vacation though. That's a great time to vacation. Maybe not in
Is this
Florida.
winter? Dude, I'm in the South.
Yeah, it's still winter. Well,
No,
I
in
guess
the
I
South,
guess
like,
it's spring
well,
now because today was daylight savings time,
yeah,
right?
it's cold right now, which means it is 60 degrees out.
Hey, J Fresh.
No, wait,
You want me to make you jealous?
do we still have daylight savings time?
We do.
Oh, okay.
No, it just happened to over here.
Yeah, yeah, but I thought they were
That's
getting
true,
rid
yeah.
of it.
No.
I don't know.
The first
They
day
like
of
giving old
spring is
showers back.
officially March 20th in the Northern Hemisphere.
So, J Fresh, I want to make you jealous for a sec. I went to Disney World in October of 2020. Not only did I go to Disney World, I also went to the Kennedy Space Center. And let me tell you, there were 10 people at the Kennedy Space Center when I was there.
Oh my God. Sounds like
Dude.
paradise.
It was heaven, dude. And in Disney World too, dude, no one, like, everyone was like distancing and stuff, and there was barely anyone there. It was, I gotta tell you guys, the only
Did
way
you
I recommend
go?
going.
Did you go with kids? What's the backstory here?
Yeah. So yeah, it was me and my girlfriend at the time. Their parents had scheduled this like a year in advance. And so, it was all planned and scheduled and stuff. And then the pandemic hit, and then they still managed to like keep us on the roster. They just weren't accepting anyone else like after lockdowns. And so, we managed to get in, and then
Did you fly?
yeah, we flew.
Ew, that's
Yeah, it was wild, dude. There's no one on the plane. There was no one at the parks, dude. I recommend going to Disney World during a global pandemic. That's probably the best time to
Yeah,
go.
next time there's a global pandemic, I'm gonna visit so many places.
yeah.
As long as they're not in nature, because nature was fucking crowded, dude.
Oh yeah, I don't want to do outdoor events anyway. That's not a concern for me.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you hate fresh air.
I do. Yeah, it's not
Funny
clean.
that we have all this.
It's not as clean as the inside air.
It's funny that we have all this nature and yet we still like bunched out into like specific areas.
We can't hear you at all, man.
We do bunch up into specific areas of nature. Yeah, I went on a 5-day backpacking trip, and when I left, like,
Gross.
there was no one out. We were backpacking. It was great. And then right when we got to like the first like waterfall on the way in, it was just packed with people like fucking in the middle of summer, like grilling with fucking charcoal and blasting music and shit and all that. And it was so jarring.
Raining very heavily right now.
Welcome to Florida. Yeah, I hear it. It almost sounds like you're eating candy.
Yeah, eating pop rocks. Yeah, real big droplets. It's slapping the shit out of my lip. I'm gonna put myself on mute for a little bit.
I see Girk's making my prediction for me.
No, I'm doing mine.
Oh,
I won.
can I go next? Oh wait, no, J Fresh
Sure.
beat me, so he can go next. But he muted himself, so I'm gonna go.
Hold on, I'm trying to see what day CPI is on. It's Wednesday. Should need to pump into Wednesday. And then CPI still hot. Ooh, CPI hot,
Dude,
but
that
we
would fuck
stay
my strangle so hard.
CPI hot, but we stay flat into PPI. Then PPI also hot. People get bearish. And then we bounce at the end of
Fuck.
the week.
That would be wild.
Yeah, I think that.
All right. I'm gonna say, well, because I have a strangle, we are going to open at, what is that? 57.33.
No, wait, hold on. I fucked up. Ah, go away. 57.33.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and
Okay.
then perfectly flat all week.
Is that just the middle of your strangle?
Yeah, that's max loss for me.
Okay. All right, let's see if JFresh can
Yeah, where are we at exactly? 57 what?
57.70.
770.
770.
57.70. 58.80 middle of week. 57.20 end of week.
58.80 middle of week.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change that. 58.80 middle of week, and then 58.80 close. Close the week.
So
So
into
like up to
58
58.80 on
and then flat.
yeah, up to 50 yeah, and then flat. Yeah.
There you go. All right, there we got it.
Is it locked in? We
Yes.
locked in. Girk, you have any more audibles to call like you are so want to do?
No, I'm good. I like this.
Okay. Got it.
Screenshot that shit.
I like the name of that one indicator, Girk Wiener Candle.
That's the Monte Carlo. It's just called Girk's Wiener.
That's fantastic.
All right, I'm gonna go die in a rainstorm now.
I do kind of agree with
Yeah,
you.
have fun with that.
No, I want to. I do really want
No,
to open
no,
it. Okay,
no.
all right,
Fuck,
fine. I do want to
no.
open it Delta Neutral,
No.
though. I like that. But fine. I won't.
You disgust me.
It's fine. I won't change it. I'm pinning your message already.
Dude, I hope this just goes straight up all week. I hope the economic data lags a little bit and then my strangle fucking prints like mad. That'd be so cool.
I just want 1.5% to the upside for 3 straight days.
I want 6%. Give me 6% to the upside. Give me 50% of the upside, dude. I'll take
Well,
it.
1.5 each day, right? So 4, almost 5-ish.
Average 1.5% each day. I think day 2 will be the biggest. Pre CPI.
If we do that, I'll make like $3,000 on my fucking strangles.
Nice.
I'm down. But because like my call is just barely out of the money. So like if we move up that much, dude, it's gonna be like each day is just you're just tacking on like $500 of intrinsic.
Trump's gonna say something tonight, and the market's gonna go to fucking 5,600. The bulls are gonna spend the rest of the week trying to bounce it back to Delta Neutral.
If we do that, I'll also make fucking so much money.
If we do that, if we went into OPEX at like under 5,700 or whatever, I will load up on it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Everything would
that
be
strangle
so.
would be repositioned.
It would be at like 5,100 by SLD.
This This is and if this was our TV show. The title of this episode would be "The Gang Buys the Bottom" or buys puts at the bottom again.
Again, yeah, part two.
Part 9.
The gang gets way too buried. Oh man, this sitcom is a great idea, dude.
Always,
I hope NBC picks it up
always
because
a good
they'll do a
time.
good job with it.
There's
I
one
mean,
every week.
Well, NBC will pick it up because they're picking up anything these days.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm only, you know what I'm afraid of most with my prediction is that Michigan consumer data is going to suck dick again because nobody has any money anymore, and we are actually going to close at 57.33. Because I'm kind of betting that like CPI is hot, and then PPI is also hot, and then we dump because they both suck, and then we kind of rally a bit on Michigan consumer not being as bad as expected. But if Michigan consumer is bad, I think you'll end up winning, Dork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly I'm just hoping that the economic data lags just enough for me to squeak this out. And
But this
get
is
the
also
bounce.
like my prediction is also that like we're gonna start a bear market. Like we're gonna go
Yeah,
out and
you are,
test the
yeah.
mean revision and then get rejected.
Yeah. I mean, we're already pretty much like on the precipice of it.
Yeah. Which means
Like,
the
once the
next
mag's
the
done-
next shitty thing that happens is gonna be nasty. Like nasty, like 6-7% downside.
Yeah, we're gonna trend. We're gonna trend down. It's gonna be great.
All right, we're definitely frothing.
Jerking off, yeah.
We're jerking off too hard.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, it's starting
All right.
to hurt.
All right, fine.
To the moon, boys. Let's
Yeah.
go.
All right, let's see what
Wolves
happens.
win.
Thank you guys for tuning
Wolves
in.
win forever and ever.
And thank you guys
Yeah.
for coming on.
Thanks for
Wolves
having
win.
us, bud.
Appreciate it. JFresh, drive
Yep, together.
safe. Dork, just do what you normally do.
Later, guys.
Later, guys. If you guys have any questions and I didn't get to them during the stream, and you're still brave enough to ask me, you can hit me with a DM. I'll probably be around for most of the day. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.